The worst part wasn't that my parents sold my computer, and it wasn't even that they did it without asking me first. The worst part was realizing they had planned everything in advance. They knew I would notice. They knew I would start looking for answers. And instead of telling me the truth, they prepared a lie and made sure it would reach me before I ever did. That's when I understood this wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. And I wasn't the one they chose. I came home later than usual that evening. I'd spent the whole day working, thinking about deadlines, replaying edits in my head, planning what I still needed to finish before the weekend. All I wanted was to sit at my desk, turn on my PC, and lose myself in work for a few hours. The moment I opened my bedroom door, I felt it. That quiet feeling when something is wrong, even before your brain catches up. My room felt empty, not messy, not rearranged, just hollow. My desk was there, but everything on it was gone. No monitors, no keyboard, no mouse. And the space under the desk, where my PC tower had always been, was completely empty. Just a few cables lying on the floor and faint dust marks where it used to stand. For a few seconds, I honestly thought I was hallucinating. I checked the closet, looked under the bed, even walked back into the hallway and returned, like somehow the setup would magically reappear if I gave it a second chance. It didn't. I went downstairs with my heart pounding, already knowing the answer but still hoping I was wrong. My mom was in the kitchen, calmly making coffee, scrolling on her phone like it was any other evening. I asked her where my computer was. Without even looking up, she said, "We sold it." Just like that. No hesitation, no apology, like she was telling me she'd thrown away old leftovers. I asked her what she meant, and that's when she finally turned around and explained that my sister needed money for college, new clothes, new things, and they didn't have enough at the moment. I told her that wasn't theirs to sell, that I had built that computer myself, that I used it for work, that it was literally how I made money. She brushed it off immediately, said I was exaggerating, said it was just a computer and that I could use my old laptop instead, the same laptop that barely turned on and couldn't even run the software I worked with. Before I could argue more, my dad walked in and instantly sided with her. He said my sister's future was more important than my hobbies. When I tried to explain, again, that this wasn't a hobby but my income, he shut the conversation down, told me I'd contribute when they asked, and that the discussion was over. Then my sister came in, wearing a brand new jacket that still looked stiff from the store. She thanked them, spun around in front of the mirror, and smiled like nothing was wrong. I didn't even say anything. I just went back upstairs. I sat on my bed, staring at the empty corner of my room, trying to process what had just happened. That setup wasn't something I bought on impulse. It took me years to build. Every part was paid for with freelance work, late nights editing videos, small clients, tight deadlines. That PC wasn't a toy. It was my livelihood. And this wasn't the first time they'd done something like this. When I was 16, they sold my guitar to pay for one of my sister's dance trips. When I was 19, money disappeared from my savings account to cover her vacation. Every time, I told myself that this was just how families worked, that I shouldn't make a big deal out of it. But this time, they didn't take something sentimental. They took my ability to work. I tried using my old laptop that night. It took almost 10 minutes just to boot. When I finally opened my current project, the software froze and crashed. I was going to miss my deadline and lose a contract worth $1,200. That's when I started digging through emails and listings, and I found it. The ad they had posted, my PC, listed as a barely used gaming computer, priced at $1,300, less than a third of what it was worth. I found the buyer's contact information and messaged him, explaining everything. He replied quickly, saying he had no idea and that the situation was messed up. Then he sent me screenshots of his conversation with my parents. They had told him it was an old family computer they didn't need anymore. And then he sent one more message, a screenshot from that same morning. My mom had asked him to lie to me. She told him that if I contacted him, he should say the computer broke during transport, and that he'd already gotten a refund. That's when it really hit me. They didn't just sell my computer. They planned for me to find out. They planned the lie ahead of time. They chose deception over honesty without even thinking twice. I went downstairs and showed them the messages. My mom barely reacted. She said they were protecting me from getting upset. My dad said my sister needed help and that I could always build another computer. That was the moment something snapped. I showed them my bank account, told them exactly how much money I made every month from freelance work, and then I told them I was done paying for anything: groceries, bills, rent, all of it. All. They got angry, then nervous, then suddenly wanted to talk it through, but it was too late. I packed that night. 2 weeks later, I moved into a small studio apartment. It was empty and quiet, but it was mine. Eventually, I managed to buy my setup back from the buyer, paying every dollar myself. The first night I turned it on again, I didn't feel happy. I felt clear, because I finally understood something. They never saw my work as work. They never saw my things as mine. They saw me as a resource. And this time, they couldn't sell it.